So my name is Dilip Singh. I'm a senior program manager. I've been working with Dynamics CRM for around 6 years now, primarily focused on portals. And here's my colleague.
Yep. So my name is Nikita Polikoff. I'm a senior solution architect on Dynamics 365 R&D team. I've been doing portals from custom work, doing them from ADX, Dynamics portals. So been through the full spectrum so far.
So to get started, first of all, we want to set the expectations. So this is what we will be learning today. These are the goals of our session. That's what you should be rating us on. And if you have any other questions, we'll be taking up in the end as well. So we'll talk about what is portals. So it's for all the new guys who are here who doesn't understand what portals is. So we'll talk about what is portal, how it helps you to solve your business problems. We'll understand portal architecture, and this time in detail. We'll talk about how it is hosted, how it actually works, how your cache works, like all of that we'll try to cover in here. We'll talk about what came new in version 8.3, and 8.3 is already out. It's like 2 months back. We'll recap it. We'll show like what all new things we added in. We'll also do a quick demo of one of my favorite functionality in 8.3. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about customer stories and best practices. So we'll take some real world examples and show you how those people have implemented portals. And these are like some of our favorites or people who kind of agreed for us to show their portals here. So we'll try to do that. And then we'll do a quick update on V7 lifecycle. Like you might have gotten mails on what's happening with V7. So we'll do a quick update or quick recap of that. If there are any questions in details on that, we'll take it up in the end. So without wasting more time to get started, what is actually Dynamics portals? So to understand portals, first of all, you need to understand what Dynamics 365 customer engagement is, like formerly called Dynamics CRM. So pretty much it's the take on CRM software. So you have your customer interactions in the form of selling it to them, doing customer service for them, marketing. You can do field service, or you can do like any sort of breadth of functionality. And that's what a CRM software does for you. It makes you, like it helps you to track all your customer interaction in the same place, get a holistic view of the customer, and serve customer better. It's completely extendable, completely configurable. That's how the portal got originated in the first place. Now, what portals bring on top of it? So Dynamics CRM is storing the data for your eyes. It's giving you a view of what a customer is doing, what a customer wants, whether a customer is happy or not. But how do you engage customers with you? That's where portal comes into play. It helps you extending your platform to your customers. It's not for you, it's for your customers. So you are extending the whole platform to your customers. That's where it takes advantage of extensibility of whole Dynamics CRM platform and build a web experience for all your customers. So it's creating more channels for you to engage with your customers. Now, when we talk about portals, like why should you use it or what does it do like really better than anything else? So first of all, it comes with your Dynamics 365 subscription. So if you are already using it, you already have access to it. If you have a Dynamics 365 license today, you actually have one free portal. You should start configuring it, you should start using it, see what it can solve for you. So it comes with multiple templates. You want to do customer self-service, there's a template for that. You want to do employee self-service, there's a template for that. You want to do partner management, there's a template for that. We are launching a new one for event management. A lot of our partners are working on their own templates. So that's where you need to explore the possibility of what all you can do with that. And it's all available. You are engaging your customers. Increase engagement. Like one of the things which every single customer complains is, oh, I do business with you, you don't care about me. And this is where you make engagement better with your customer. You engage with your partners, you engage with your customers, you engage with your employees, make them happy. That's the goal of running an organization. Compliance. Once you run on Microsoft Cloud, you do not have to care about compliance. Like we have had a lot of people to understand what does really law says in every different country, because they change from country to country, and take care of it. So we make sure all the portal are compliant to whatever our regional compliance like laws. We are making sure that whenever GDPR comes in, we make you completely compliant out of the box. Or we give you tools to become compliant if something you have to do. But one of the things which you can place in Microsoft Cloud is trust and making sure that everything you run there is compliant to local laws. Extensibility. And this is my favorite topic because we have a customer in Australia who were using Dynamics CRM for tracking kangaroos. So if you want to use portals for tracking kangaroos, you can do that. So your kangaroo can come to portal and see whether he is being tracked or not. But the whole power of this platform is extensibility and configurability. We do templates, we ship them out of the box, we like them, and we make them beautiful as much as possible. But that doesn't make the cut because you always have custom business processes. And we'll cover that in one of the best user stories where people have seriously, we never imagined that they'll do this with portal and they are kind of doing that. Yeah, but there's no kangaroo tracking portal though. Anyone wants to build that, I'll help them out. Now, for all the business audience or whosoever is pitching portal in their organization, it is important to understand how it is helping you transform your business. There are 4 steps to it. It's a journey, it's not like a one-stop thing. First, listen to your customer. It helps you to deliver more channels to your customer. Web, it gives you out of the box. Like the moment you have a portal, you have a web channel where customers can come and engage with you, talk to you, tell them what their problems are. So that's another channel adding into Customer 360 View and Dynamics CRM because that's where your backend is. That's where everything goes from every single channel. It helps you add chat channel. And anyone who went to customer service session or went to booths in Expo, we showed chat. And that all starts with a portal. It can start with a mobile device as well, but it starts with a portal. And that's pretty much, whenever I have used chat, I have always gone to a portal and started from there. And it is all tying it back into Dynamics 365. Single identity, a single contact record in your CRM is telling you whatever is happening in the world with that customer. And it's not only for you. Yes, it's giving you a view, it's also helping your customer to see what all they have done in a single place. This is one place they can go and do that. No customer wants to call and ask them, oh, what happened with my case? So this is the place where you are enabling them to go and do a single 360 view for themselves. Share your information. Sharing is caring. So you have to make sure that you are sharing information. If someone has to reset password and have to call you, it's a problem. You have to fix it. So that's where sharing knowledge base articles, creating forums for your customer to engage with each other as well as you, that helps. And then if you are doing a partner management scenario, sharing opportunities between partners, sharing opportunities between partners and your teams, that all it becomes it enables that. If you have a custom thing which you want to share, yes, that's all possible, and that's no code approach. That's the beauty of it. Engagement with your customers. Now, one of the major things, you are listening to them, you're sharing with them, how you're engaging with them. Chat is a channel which helps. That's where customer can come and engage with you directly. That's a direct channel. Forums helps. They engage with each other. They engage with you. Providing them access to case management on portal helps because that's where they are coming, filing cases, looking at their interaction, talking to agent directly from the portal. That's all engagement with customers. So you increase your engagement and that transforms into a happy customer. Now, if you're listening, sharing, engaging, all you're doing is transforming your business. That's the key of it. You have customer self-service, you want to set up help desk, that's transforming your business because till now you're just taking phone calls or asking people to do emails to you. That doesn't, it helps to a certain level, but you want your organization to grow, more employees to come in, that will not scale. So that's where transforming your business means extending a web presence, and that's where portal helps here. If you have a custom business process which you want to roll it out on web engagement, that's where it can help. If you have legal who wants to tell people about policies, you can create a portal that will help you scale. So that's where you are transforming your business if you are using Dynamics 365 portals. And the best part of it, it's all super simple, pretty much no code driven approach, and it will help you get up and running as quickly as possible. Now, that's all the sales pitch. I hope you like it. So that's the sale pitch you can copy whenever you are pitching to your customers.
That's when your boss asks why
Yeah.
you're working on portals. And if your answer was because they're cool, it's not going to like that.
Now, portal features is like giving you a glimpse of what all comes out of the box. So everything is built on security. Authentication and authorization are two pieces of it. If authentication, you can use any auth provider which has a SAML and OpenID Connect protocol enabled in it. We prefer Azure AD B2C because go Microsoft. And that's a good solution actually, so you should try and use that. We come with an out-of-box integration with Azure AD B2C and Azure AD B2B in general. You can use any of your other auth providers like Facebook, Google, or anything like that. That's all supported. We come with a local login option as well, but that's being deprecated, so we are moving everyone to Azure AD as soon as possible, whenever they are available everywhere. Authorization is all through your Dynamics CRM contact record. It's all role-based access, so you assign users roles. Roles have entity permission. Based on that, they get access to content on the portal. If you want to create like custom access or knowledge base article, like my premium customer wants to see this article and my standard customer should see this article, all of that is possible in authorization model. And it's all driven through Dynamics 365, and it's all configuration driven. You don't have to write code for it. World ready. 43 languages, right now around 20 odd data centers. So we are pretty much available in all data centers from where Dynamics 365 is being offered, including Azure Government Cloud for US government as well as Azure Germany. So you are always local, closest to your Dynamics 365 data center, and we make sure of that. Like you don't have to worry about it. The moment you provision it, we know which is the closest place, and we will make sure you are there for performance reasons. So that will make sure all your data is compliant according to local laws. If you are from Europe, none of your data goes out to US, like none, pretty much. And in that case, like you don't have to worry about, oh, where my data is, where am I hosting, is it performant, all of that stuff is taken care of. We provide you templates. Like I talked about customer self-service, employee self-service, partner management, all of these are present out of the box. We are doing a preview with event management, so you can try that out. A lot of our partners are building their own templates or their own like small snippets of features. So play around with that, and that's all available on AppSource. So you have a portal, go to AppSource, get one more, and like voila, you get running. Standards. Accessibility, like one of the major things which everyone in Microsoft talks about, accessibility today, like maybe after GDPR. But accessibility is one of the key components, so we focus on that a lot. Like we have all the standard VPAT, ENUS, and like I forgot the third one. Those documents are out there, so you can read through that. And we are making sure that we will make portal along with administration experience fully compliant in like next few release cycles. So you will never have to talk to your customer that, oh yeah, maybe accessible. And you don't have to worry about it, we take care of it. It's all HTML5, responsive design, works on mobile, works on web browsers, so all of that is all driven into the product. Content management and branding, every single web engagement experience needs a branded experience. So you want your own logos, you want your own colors, your company like Orange more, so you want orange color everywhere. So all of that is possible, it's all configurations. It's all like a web editing experience. It's our own CMS. It's not that we use WordPress or anything like that. So we provide like front-side editing as well as you can write HTML scripts or download Bootstrap to do all the HTML manipulations as well. Profile management and personalization. All your profile is stored in CRM. Now, beauty about that is it's not only getting profile from portals. It's getting profile from social if you use MSC. It's getting profile from everywhere if you use DCI. So all of that can be leveraged to personalize the experience on the portal. And we'll just do like a quick snapshot on how you can, like what all you can do with that and how you get that personalization experience built or like built on top of whatever we provide out of the box. Then let's do a quick check about, we run it as a service. It's completely software as a service. So what are the key things we measure ourselves upon? Most important, availability. It's a financially backed 99.9% uptime SLA. If it goes down more than that, we are liable to pay you money back. And that's in your Dynamics 365 contract, both for CRM as well as portal. It's all driven out of it. So it's not Dynamics 365 because we go one day down in a leap year, but 99.9% means it will always be up, pretty much. And I'll talk about actual how we did. Since the day we have launched, we have always met that SLA for every single customer. So that's something we actually take pride on. Performance and scalability, we optimize it for performance. You don't have to worry about what hardware we put it on or how we are running it. Every release we do, we try to optimize performance as much as possible. We will soon be launching like a performance white paper as well, so that there's some common configuration which we will list out in that, which are kind of strict no-no or which can affect your performance badly. So that will help you a lot. We'll also put out our benchmark number soon in a white paper. So that white paper will help you understand where you lie in spectrum and how do you move forward with it. Disaster recovery. If an Azure data center goes down, we host in Azure, by the way. If an Azure data center goes down, we make sure you will not go down. Unless all the Azure data center in the US goes down, you will be up. So that we make sure of. So that's something you don't have to worry about, and that's the beauty of SaaS software, right? Like you don't have to worry about how it is hosted, whether it's up and running or not. Data protection, so I talked about it, compliant with all Microsoft data protection regulations, and we keep on adding new. So if you go to like trust.microsoft.com, that's where you see what all we are compliant with. Global availability, pretty much all the data centers in Azure Government Cloud in US and Azure Germany. We are present everywhere, wherever Dynamics 365 is right now. Security, so we make sure like we follow all the modern TLS crypto standards. We do keep on doing like checks on our websites to make sure all of them are security compliant. DDoS preventions, all cross-site scripting, that we take care of. Actually, if you run our website on Qualys, it will show up as A grade. So that's something we keep on checking from time to time. Now, we talked about that much, so we did all the sales pitch, but how much these sales pitch are effective? Like how people actually using it? So just a quick glimpse into state of business. So we have around 6,000 active portal running today. And these are the guys who are paying for us, like in one way or another. Either they got it free with Dynamics 365 or they actually bought an add-on. There are 6,000 of that right now. We have 691,000 monthly active users. Now that doesn't mean that, oh, you don't even have like 1 million users. It means that these are the guys who are coming back to their website again and again. Customers have like millions of users, like 100,000 visits in a month. So 691,000 is what we get every month right now. A month means last 28 days. That's how I roll it. Then monthly page views is we get around 24 million page views almost every month right now. And that, like once we started, was 0. And pretty much when I did my session last year, it was around like 1 million page views. So we have grown like 23 times since then. We do around 15 million monthly transactions. Transactions is whenever you read any Dynamics data on portal. So you are reading a case, you are creating a case, you are reading a knowledge base article, you are creating a knowledge base article, you are signing in, you are logging out, you are doing search, all of that is a transaction, different than page views because static HTML pages we don't count in transactions, but we are doing 15 million monthly transactions today. Our availability last 6 months, because that's what I pulled up, but availability for last 1.5 years. We launched in May 2016. So since then, we have met the goal of 99.9% availability every single month. And when I go to architecture, you'll see why. How do we do that? Because it's actually inbuilt into the architecture that we avoid going down as much as possible. And not because we don't want to engage with you on your support calls, but because we don't really want you to panic about your service running. Now this was all like how we are performing, why do you use it? Then let's talk a bit about architecture, like how this whole thing was designed. And this is going into nitty-gritty of each thing. Like how we are hosting it, how we are talking to CRM, and how we are doing our cache. These are 3 things we'll cover in this. So most important is how we host it. And this shows like every single paid portal you have, whenever you get it either by free subscription for Dynamics 365 or you are buying a portal add-on, not trials. This is how it is hosted. You have 2 Azure web apps running for every single portal. Both, like each web app is in a different data center. Each web app has its local cache and local search index, which is kept concurrent at every time. It's not that it gets like mirrored over and that's how it becomes concurrent. It is just kept concurrent. Like any changes are done to both the website at the same time. What this ensures is if one data center goes down, one is actually designated as primary, that's the one you are hitting every time. If you get more load, that thing scales out, because if you use Azure Web Apps, you know that they scale out. So it will automatically scale out. Now, once you are actually, you are always hitting your primary web app. If your primary web app went down because of some reason, we switch you over to secondary automatically. And that's done by Traffic Manager, which is again Azure Traffic Manager service. It does DNS-based routing. It keeps on tracking your website is up and running every 30 seconds. If it figured out that for 1 minute your website didn't respond, it will move every customer over to secondary. When I measured it, it takes around like 2 minutes to move over the customer to secondary in case the first one goes down. And that ensures that design takes care of high availability. Design takes care of disaster recovery. And that's the beauty of this product. The Service Bus and Event Hub and CRM, we'll talk about that once we come to cache. That's how all the cache and search indexes are kept concurrent. And we'll talk in details about that in like next few slides. So next piece is how does it actually connect to CRM? Because this is something everyone asks me question about. Like, oh, we used to put like username and password when we used ADX Studio before, and that password used to expire and no one knew about it. And then someone has to reset it, and then someone has to go delete their app data folder and put the password again. What will happen here? Will my password expire at some point of time? So good news is we don't use passwords. Oh, it's still authenticated. Don't worry about that. So what we do is, whenever you provision a portal, you have an Azure AD connected to your tenant. That comes by default the moment you have an Office 365 subscription. So when you provision a portal, we create an application in that. So if you'll actually go to your Azure AD connected to your tenant, you will see bunch of application which says Microsoft CRM portals in it, if you have multiple portals. If you have one portal, then it will just show one. So that application is used to talk to CRM. So when we provision your portal, we create an application, and that's why you need to be the global admin or Dynamics 365 system admin, all of that permission, that's why they are required. So that application will then be registered with your CRM org, so it can always talk to him. So they all trust each other and they can accept tokens for that particular app. When your portal will try to connect to CRM, it will first go authenticate with the application in Azure AD, get a token, send it to CRM. CRM will say, good, awesome, this token I accept because you registered this app with me. And that's the whole CRM S2S flow which came out recently. So that's exactly what we use at the backend. Once your application is authenticated, authorization is all driven by your contact record. So it's all done in portal code. So we will call CRM using CRM SDK, standard stuff. We will get all your contact record back. We'll get all the website permissions or all the entity permissions and content access levels or whatever you have set up. We'll evaluate that and create the whole authorization model, and it's cached. So it's performant after that. So that's why the first load is slow, and after that it becomes performant because it will cache all of that data. And that's how the whole authentication happens. But now the most important question comes, how does I logically represent a website in CRM? Because once you provision a portal, you'll see that tons of entities created. There's a website entity, there's website binding, there's entity form, there's entity list, what all they are doing. They are actually storing all the metadata of your portal inside CRM. So whole website is logically represented in those entities. Now, what technically represent a website is your website entity record. One website entity record means a website which is running. Now, how do you connect the two? Because one is running on Azure, one is a record in CRM. So there's an entity called website binding, which actually stores, oh, this is my site URL and this is my website, and that's how they talk to each other. So one of the questions which people ask me a lot is, can you run multiple websites in one single CRM? Yes, you can. You can have multiple website record. Based on your binding, it will pick up which one to run. So whenever portal loads up, it looks at binding and see which website metadata to load. So you can have like 10 records, create 10 demos for your 10 customers, change the website binding, restart the portal, it will take the new metadata and it will start running that. And that's the beauty of it. So it's not hard-coded or it's not something magic happening. It's all metadata driven within CRM. That's why we are leveraging CRM platform to like create this whole functionality. Now another thing which comes is whenever you install a template, it comes with one website record by default per language. So you can install customer portal in 43 language and it will give you 43 website records. So the reason why we only create one in a template is because there was no reason to create two because both would have been same. So but you can actually copy it, create your own and do the website binding so that it connects to whatever website you have created or just edit the existing one. That's why we provide the template. Now this is the piece where I get dinged upon most.
We never get questions on this.
Yeah, no questions on this. So one of the most important thing about performance of portal is we cache everything or as much as we can. Because going back to CRM, getting the data at runtime is expensive. There's a network call involved in it and we want to avoid it as much as possible. So we try to cache, maximize the caching. Now the problem which comes is it has to be invalidated in time. Now if you use ADX Studio Legacy, we used to ship a plugin which you will configure on whatever record changes are happening in CRM and that's how your cache will get invalidated. Now that plugin had problems because if you have too many data changes happening, it will bring down your async server a lot. So everyone used to complain about it and there was no solution for that. What we'll ask you is, oh, go disable it on create of cases or create of contacts or something like that. That doesn't solve business problem. So one of the things which we did when we launched the SaaS version, we took the plugins out. We don't want anyone to configure web notification plugins on their SaaS portal. It doesn't have to be. We still ship it and we'll talk about why because we launched a self-hosted version where you still need it. But in your SaaS version, you do not need to configure web notification plugins. The way your cache invalidation works is any change made into your CRM entity record, any type of change, there is a Azure Event Hub running at the backend. That Event Hub is listening to all the changes. Whenever that change goes to Event Hub, we listen to it and that's where the service bus comes into play. We write it to that service bus and that's how it goes to portal and portal invalidates all the cache. Now there are obviously caveats for it because a lot of people will say, yeah, that's fine, but it doesn't work. Like my cache invalidation just stopped working. What happened? Few things important. First, any change of an entity will only go if it is enabled for change tracking. That's a metadata for an entity in CRM. And Nikita will dive more deep on that. But you have to enable that metadata flag. Else your changes are not going to come into portal. Now these are all the changes which you are making on CRM. If you are making a change on portal directly, if someone is coming and creating the cache, there's no issue with cache there. It will invalidate automatically at that point of time. These are the changes you are making to CRM. Another important point is there's an SLA. We try to get all your changes within 15 minutes. But in reality, we actually get all the changes within 5 minutes. That's our telemetry says, but public SLA is 15. That's what we always claim. And we are trying to increase it, improve it, and make sure to get it within a minute, sometime in future. Now this same technique is actually used by pretty much a lot of the new services coming in. Mobile offline uses the same technique. Relevant search uses the same technique. So if you have words with Dynamics platform, this is all going on in backend. That's one of the major improvements we did. Now, if you are a developer and you are making changes, obviously sometime 15 minutes doesn't cut in. So what you will do is you can reset the cache manually. So you go to your portal, go to a page called /services/about and the URL is listed there. That page shows a button called reset cache if you are an admin and he will show that. Click on it, it will clean up all the cache. This is equivalent of restarting your website. which a lot of people were not able to do because they were not either global admin or they didn't have like system admin permission on CRM. So for developer, that's a quick way to do that while you're developing it.
And those that worked, it gave us feedback that it just took too long, right? That reboot was more comprehensive and not necessary.
Correct. Now, same mechanism used for search index as well. So that's how your search index get built. If you want to rebuild your search index or like drop the old one, do a publish all customization in CRM, and that will do that. Now, important point there is that affects your performance. So do not keep on doing it during the day on your production portal because that will not be good for your production portal. Now, one of the key things is, and this is one of the major reasons why your cache stopped working, if you are running a portal on a CRM sandbox or even a production, and you did a org reset or a org restore, your cache will break. Most of the time, even your portal will break. It will start throwing a runtime error. That's because your S2S connection is broken. Also, there's a flag, hidden flag, which you don't see, which enables a org to write to Event Hub. That flag is gone. So whenever you do that, go to your portal admin page, portal administration center, where you provision the portal from, where you go and upload SSL cert and custom domain name and everything. Just go to that page, go to portal details and just click on update. Don't even have to update anything on the form, just click on update. It will make all the connections back again. It will make sure everything is back working again. Both cache, search index, and S2S connection, everything will be solved. And this is pretty much like 30% of our support cases today. Because this breaks a lot. And it's natural. And we are working on like changing it. So you will never have to do a manual action after that. But there are some compliance things which we are doing for that because we are sending your data to external service as Event Hub, and we worry about your data going to different services than ours. So that's why we don't do it automatically today. So that was all the architecture. So I just picked like 3 major things on what I wanted to talk about because these are the ones we get a lot of questions on or a lot of confusion on. And these are the major things which changed from ADX Studio V7. Now let's talk about what came new in version 8.3. And version 8.3 actually launched in July. So we are just doing a recap of it. All of these functionalities are available today. Most important, customer journey tracking. And I'm going to do a demo of that. That's my favorite feature. So it combines your portal with Dynamics 365 Customer Insight, DCI, which powers all relationship insights and everything like that. That's one of Microsoft's newest service, which combines Azure Data Lake, Azure ML, everything, and tries to give you like awesome insights on this, on what your customer is trying to do. So Portal integrates with that, and we are going to do a demo of how that journey, like how you can map your customer journey and use it to solve business problems. We did a Portal source code release. That's the one we talked about. So this is primarily focused at our on-premise customers who cannot leverage SaaS portals, or the customers who had actual code written, like who had changed the portal code before and they cannot get away with it. So for them, this is the solution. Important thing is, because we are giving the code away, it's under MIT license, it's not supported by Microsoft, not officially supported. We're not going to update it. We do provide documentation on how do you host it. We prefer Azure Web Apps because go Microsoft. But if you want to host it on your IIS server or like local, in a box, in a dungeon, all fine. It works everywhere. Most important is this is a one-time drop, so we are not going to update the code. If we find some problems, we will reach out through community on how to fix that, but we are not going to update the code drop. Knowledge management enhancements. So this is like knowledge management is something I work upon as well, so I kind of like it a lot. So one of the things which we added is on portals you were not able to see attachments of a KB article. So if you wanted to attach a PDF or a form which people can download, you were not able to see it before. We added that. Also, we started searching in your attachment metadata, so title and descriptions and notes, title and description, all of that. We still do not search within the attachments, but that's on our roadmap. So we will bring that shortly as well. One of like the major things we are also trying to do is simplifying creation of your portals. So obviously we have a web-based CMS, which is very awesome for doing all the branding stuff. But if you have to take a custom entity and like enable it on portal, it takes few steps to do that. So what we did is we created like a simple, clean experience on how you take an entity or any entity form or any entity list and create a whole web page with that experience on it. So that's the new admin wizard. If you have if you have actually moved to 8.3 version of solutions, it will show up there and it will help you go through creating a new page and putting an entity list or entity form quickly, like within 5 minutes. It's awesome for demo. If you are creating a demo on the run and you forgot about it, like it's really fast to do that. Expanded regions. So UK came up a few months back. That's where whole Dynamics 365 service got launched in UK, and we launched along with that. Azure Germany came up like some time back, and I'm excited because we got our first Azure Germany customer went live yesterday. So can't say the name. That's the problem. Single sign-on configuration. So that's where we officially started supporting Azure AD B2C because they went GA. It was working before. We cleared out few clinks and made sure it works. We added more SSO options where you can like remove completely the login page and just directly take you to login provider in your portal. So all of that option we added, like more configuration driven. Previously people were like writing redirects for doing that. So all of that can be removed now. We also enabled a way of doing like custom claims mapping. So if your auth provider is providing custom claims which you want to map to your contact fields in CRM, that is configurable. So you can configure that, and that way all your claims will come in CRM. So with that, I'll move on to my demo. And that's where I'm going to talk about customer journey tracking in more details. Okay, so I'm going to like imagine a scenario. So I'm Abby Hansen. I am one of your employees. Anyone can pick their organization. That's a pretty common use case. And what really happened is I forgot my password. And I want to reset it, and I do not know how to do that. So this is one of the employee self-service portal which your organization has set up for all your IT questions, IT help desk. And that's where a customer comes and want to reset your password. So,
Thank you. How do we tab? Oh, presentation mode.
Oh, sorry. I forgot. Did that one? Came here. No, it's not.
Move it over. Drag it over to that screen.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
All right, so this is a portal which I have set up. I am Abby Hansen. This is a very simple portal. It has a knowledge base. It has a forum for my employee. It has support. So you can actually go and create cases and do like case management there. So what I wanted to do was like reset my password. Sorry, I forgot again. So what I did was how to reset my password, because there's a search box right there and I want to do that. All right, it searched a bit more.
It's doing deep
Lot
learning,
more.
thinking, analytics.
Right. Is this thing connected? No, I think it got disconnected. All right. Sorry, that's a bad example of performance, but it has actually got disconnected, so just give me a sec. Okay, here you go.
It's much
Not
better,
slow.
much faster.
So I did how to reset password, but it always happens, right? Like you don't really find the answer you were looking for. It showed me, okay, how do I get a username and password? Maybe it talks about how do I reset a password. All right, it talks about must be 6 to 14 characters. I know that. It was between 6 to 14. I don't know which characters, so best not to use a word or name. Oh, come on. Okay, so it doesn't really help. Let me try again, maybe something. Setting password? Same thing? Come on. No. I don't really care about sign up for business customers. So
This is the new first world problems of customer engagement and self-service.
right. So, okay, I got frustrated. I'll go and just go ahead and create a case and let someone deal with it. And I'll say, how do I reset my password? Oh my God, again. So this is one of our features for deflection. So we try to show you KB articles as much as possible so that they don't log a case. And that makes actually customer happy sometimes, but in this case, I know it doesn't solve my problem. I'm not trying to book a travel. That's the second article. So no, I don't want to see these. I just directly want to go and say, help me with resetting password. And I don't have a file to attach, so I'll just go and do that. What would happen? Okay. This is not a good example. All right, awesome. So my case got created. The first one, I probably hit on a wrong button or something. So you see my case is here. How do I reset password? Origin is web, customer Abhi Hansen. So that's how I track my case, and that's how I can track my case progress later. But let's go back to the view which agent is seeing. So I'm Murray. I'm a customer service representative. I'm actually looking at all the cases which has come into my queue. I see how do I reset password. Oh, I know Abhi. I like her. So I'm just going to go and open her case and see how we can help to solve this problem. Now, okay, so she's talking about how do I reset password, and yeah, that's fine. Like there will be a KB for it, right? So I can just directly open a KB, send it to her, and like see what happens. So, right, everything is frozen somehow. Okay, awesome. So I go ahead and click on KB. So voila. So this is the whole automated KB search functionality. It did a search on how do I reset password. I got an article, how do I get a username password? Yeah, probably this will have details, right? How do I get a username and password? So I should just send it. But do you guys remember this was the same article which Abby viewed on the portal? So if I send this article to her again, she's going to reply back yelling, saying that I saw that, like I'm not dumb. Come on, duh, that's the first article which shows up everywhere. I know about that. So you need to solve that problem somehow. And that happens a lot. It happens in MSIT a lot. Like trust me, my laptop, I have to do so much for it. Same article every single time. So how do we solve that? That's where customer journey tracking becomes important. If there was a way I knew what Abby did on portal before launching this case, that would have solved this problem. So that's what we built. So we built a whole customer journey, like customer timeline feature. And this is part of DCI directly. So I'm just embedding that here. What it does is it shows you what all your customers search on portal, what all KB articles they viewed, what all forums they viewed before filing this case. And that way I can know that this is what they did, so I should not do the same thing again. Now I see she has done a lot of search, and that was probably she was doing these searches when she was preparing for demo last night. So I get to the latest and I see that she has done search on how to reset password like multiple times. She got an article, how do I get username and password? That's the same article I was trying to send to her. It would have come back and would have gloriously failed in resolving customer's problem. So that's where I need to improve upon. So how do I do that? So what I did was, okay, how do I get username and password? Oh, there's no KB for it. Oh, but I am CSR, I have access to internal KBs. Maybe someone has created an article, it has not been published yet. So I'll go and see all approved articles, because those are the ones I'm allowed to use. So, oh, here you go. How do I reset password? I see you do something with USB or CD, DVD. It's probably not going to solve, but that's the only thing I found on Google or Bing when I search for it. So I copy this. I cannot send this article directly because this is not an official article. So you do fact checking before you send it out, and that's typically most customer service organizations do. But I copied the content. I'll leave her a comment. And I'll send her an email as well. Like, I just didn't want it to show the email flow. So this is how you do it. So I save it and complete it. So that way, Abby will get this on her portal. So let me become Abby now. And voila. And this is cached. So this was cache invalidation as well. So that happened in a demo. I'm so happy about it. So this way, Abby will see that, oh, this is the step I have to follow. Yes, I did some articles. She will try these and say, oh, yeah, this worked. So she'll close the case. And that's how you make sure your customer is happy. Now, another important thing about that's solving one particular scenario. Another scenario is, as a knowledge manager, how do you identify gaps? How do you see like how people are doing searches? How many searches people are doing? Those kind of things. So that is also possible through customer engagement. One of the important things it will provide you is it will show you how many searches has happened, show you how many KB views has happened over the time, all the progressions. It also shows you how what all keywords you searched and like how many times each keyword was searched. Like if you'll actually hover over it, it actually shows that. Not doing here. So I actually took like a cheap custom control on Power BI, but this is a Power BI dashboard, so you can get a better one and use that for word cloud. So this will show you all the like search terms which have been viewed in whatever visualization you want to, and help you improve your keywords of articles. Because you can compare it with all the keywords which are present on your article and see there are keywords which are never hit. It means there are gaps, and I need to fix that. And you can find it out. You can see like how many articles were viewed and how many times. So booking travel, and what should I expect? I apply online, so all the new stuff hasn't come in because I haven't refreshed it. So you can see that some of the articles were viewed multiple times, and there was no article viewed for reset password because we forgot to publish it, and we need to do that ASAP. You also see how many searches are performed by per user. Which user performed what search, what portal, what time, everything. And this is important. This is one of the customer actually asked me, and they use a like pretty expensive analytics solution on portal today. And they were like, I cannot find out what my customers are searching for. And they have all internal employees. They do internal employee self-service for their external customers. So they were like, I have customers driven in pods, like I have my agents in pods, and I don't know what my agents are searching for. And I have like some guys who never search any article, I know that, but how do I prove it? And this is the solution for that. It will show you which customer did what search. You track it, and we are going to enhance it more. So it will show you within that session what search they did, what article they clicked upon, which number it was on, and whether they created a case or not. All of that is the V2 of that. So this is all available today. Play around with it, and this will help you solve a lot of your customer engagement problems. So that's pretty much it, and I have taken more time than we planned for. So I'll just give it to Nikita now. And go back to deck.
Okay, so we're going to talk about customer stories while the slides are coming up, so you get going on that. So we were able to get the top names in the industries here. Major electronics retailer. Now, we are working with compliance and making sure that we can share the customer names with you for your selling motions. But for now, I'll just talk about the stories of actually what customers have been successful in accomplishing. So specifically, this major retailer was actually the scenario that Dalit was describing about employees servicing. It was a project that they finished in under 3 months. They got about 24,000 employees self-servicing themselves in Knowledge Portal. What they're able to do is take that knowledge content from an older system that they had to log in, a thick client application, and actually get that content in there. Now they got a fast, responsive portal that they're able to consume that data and improve their search because it was actually a single sign-on. So they were able to get to the search portal faster. They were able to seamlessly log in and consume that data. We also have a major airline doing something pretty creative with our portals. There's something that happens in Europe when your flight gets canceled. You can file to get a certificate back to get some of your money back from that flight. So what they've built is more of a creative process of taking something that would be traditional kind of case management and applied that concept to filing that kind of a request and letting the customer log in and check the status of that request and processing ticket. We also had a major global electronics manufacturer. These guys are huge. They're worldwide. They make a lot of electronics that many of us are actually using. They have a global workforce. They were able to use our multi-language portal capabilities. They were able to use knowledge. They were able to use case management for their existing HR and IT portals. So what they're bringing is vast majority of their global knowledge bases over to us in our portals, and they got over 50,000 users. Now, they were able to also do that in about 3 months. They did run into some challenges with their partner. Their partner wasn't ready. Their partner didn't know our technology. So that prevented some gaps. We were able to quickly engage fast track for Dynamics 365, and we were able to kind of turn around that engagement and get them some help. But that was kind of one of the stories where even when sometimes we have some challenges, we're still able to prove some success, but have they actually done some field work, some homework, and looked at the existing portals, they were able to see some of the gaps and get to some of these conversations around identity, some of the conversations around splitting, user experience, and things like that just a little earlier. So definitely take your time and do some homework ahead of time in what you're mapping out and how you're going to actually transition and migrate onboard your customers. One of the customers is Microsoft. Microsoft actually uses quite a bit of our own technology, always dogfooding our own stuff. So what we have is US Immigration Portal. US Immigration Portal is very important for us to bring in employees here to US to work.
Like me.
Yep. That's actually who was able to get us some screenshots of that. So what we have is something that's, if you've seen our out-of-the-box portal, you see that this interface is customized. You see that navigation is customized. You even have some kind of an alerting customization there and the navigation they're able to bring in. And they're using our SaaS portal. No magic here. They're not doing anything special here. And what they're even able to do is, Dilip was able to actually work with the dependent and actually see their information, be able to manage that.
So that's a great example of personalization, because it's me and all my dependents, and they have different tasks than what they have to perform than me. So I can switch profiles, or they can switch profiles, and they do their task. And the whole experience gets customized because it's a different user than me. And that's what the beauty of this is. And that's no code approach, which is another thing which is important to point out.
No. So I'll click through the use cases. We will accelerate a little bit just so we can get to more time. But some of the portal use cases, you've seen some of the traditional ones that your stakeholders and customers would want to know, depending if you're a customer or partner, right? But if you take a look at that traditional case management, right, it's submitting a ticket and tracking. Well, flip that a little bit. Think of that with that mindset of digital transformation, like Satya was talking about during keynotes. And look at how do I pose a question or a process, right? You've seen how Dynamics could be used in your organizations or others and seen some success stories of using that for multiple things that are just outside of maybe traditional case management or sales or marketing or other processes. So take a look at that and see what you can use for this process, right? Like that airline we talked about. Knowledge management. Knowledge management. Another thing too, when you're a partner and talking to somebody that says, I already get case management, don't talk to me about case management. Well, bring that into conversation about employee enablement or things like that. And around knowledge management, where you can use cases or a CMS system for surfacing other content. And when you do, and it's a public website, guess what happens? Organic search results. So now you're able to grow your brand, grow your knowledge, and your customers coming in, making a buyer decision. See, these guys are going to be easy to deal with. Look at their knowledge base. They got a community. They got engagement. And then XRM, right? A term you hear from us from time to time and from our customers and partners, where we build anything in your portal. You build anything in Dynamics, because we entirely rely on that infrastructure. You're able to take those kind of configurations and bring that out and build. So any of your custom entities, yes. Custom fields, yes, absolutely. And you can take anything in UI, and that's what I'm actually going to show you. Let's talk real quick before I show you a little bit of the user experience is some best practices. You got to have a little bit of a right team. And that's what I talked about with a partner that took on a project a little too quick with our customer. We were able to succeed in the end, but they didn't have the right skill sets. You can't take a simple consultant on your development team that have experience building customizations in front end and just flip them or ask your developer. Say, there's the developer, right? Have them build a portal. If they don't have the web front end skill sets, and I'm talking about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, right? You want that website to look pretty? Who's doing it? Your business analyst? Content manager? Your customer? Have you discussed that with your customer? Who's going to be bringing onboarding content and translating it? Have those conversations to make sure you have the rounded out team, because now you're building an external web property. You're not drag and dropping and customizing fields on a form or a business process flow and saving and publishing it. So make sure you have the right team and make sure you actually know the features. Super, super important. Not sure why I have to say it, but sometimes I do, because we do feel like, hey, it's just metadata out of CRM. Nikita shows that it's easy. Do take your time and learn. Take your time and learn the Dynamics Learning Portal, customer source, partner source. Partners are starting engagements and doing training and offerings in there. And make sure you understand that. And maybe even think about doing maybe a hackathon, proof of concept, boardroom pilot, whatever you may call it, to actually touch and feel the features and understand if that portal means what you are. Especially if you already have an existing portal property you're trying to bring over, make sure you understand all of the features and requirements and make sure you do a proper fit gap analysis. One of the things, I'll mention two things that I see missed often, and they might seem surprising, but you'll be surprised. User onboarding and registration. Not discussing that until too soon before go live. It has been some fun challenges and experiences and escalations occurring from that. How are you going to bring in your existing portals? How do you get your portal users from your last portal? How are you going to invite portals and users that have never been there? Have you talked to marketing and your customer engagement teams? Other one is validating permissions. Like Philippe was saying, it is managed from the contact. Well, now that it is managed from the contact, I have a new concept of permission models. I have web roles, I have content access rules, and I have my entity permissions. Now, those are linear in nature, so I need to make sure that my requirements of what I'm hoping to do is actually going to be achievable for me. Do that early. We'll talk about cache. I'm going to accelerate a little bit here. There's definitely a few things. You definitely want to check that on the entity level itself. Check the change notification is turned on. There's sometimes other developers or customizers in the system that might have turned it off and see, well, not using anything here. I'm not pulling their custom data. We are. That's how our Event Hub is plugging into it. So turn that back on. Clearing cache, I'll show you that page. Very easy, very fast. Works. Doing bootstrap and styling updates, wondering why the pages are not changing. Your browsers are caching that web CSS file, right? So make sure you use private browser mode or refresh your instance. Header and footer caching, awesome, awesome performance improvement, right? It's by default enabled in your organization. So if you go home today and deploy it, you already have it. Now, if you're upgrading, you do need to do a little bit of tinkering there. You need to flip two switches and go and update a couple of variables in some header and footer templates. Not much. We actually have a full documentation out there. We actually have a really well built out docs website there on Dynamics. So take a look at the resources and download the slides later.
And the doc link is in the notes. So once you get the presentation, you can find it in the notes.
Yep. It's docs.microsoft. There'll be a special section for Dynamics. There's a special section for portals there. And all the knowledge is there. Search works really well. And you'll go from there. But the footer and header caching, if you are doing personalization in that header, you don't want that. Otherwise, it is going to stay static. So by default, it's on. And if you make those customizations, it's going to be stuck. All right? So right before you go live, before I go to demo, well, how do you actually prove value of your users coming in, prove that you designed a well-responsive website, you've done good practices with your images and your style sheets that you brought over? Well, how do you get that? Well, you take Azure Application and Application Insights, take the HTML tracker link, and it's similar to kind of Google Analytics if you understand what that is. Application Insights is an APN technology just like that. Take it, put it in the site setting called tracking code for your website, make it an HTML type, save it, and it's going to start tracking every page at the footer right there for you. What is it going to give you? And I've seen this a little bit. Who properly plans change management? You had a portal before, have a portal now. Didn't have a business process, now you have a new business process. Somebody might not like that. Somebody might not give honest feedback of how that experience went. Wouldn't it be nice to know for sure? Wouldn't it be also nice to know how many people actually logged into my UAT? Where do they come from? What is their experience in different countries? You get that almost with nothing to do. You get absolutely that dashboard inside of Azure. I think there's quite a bit you get in Azure App Insights, even in the free tier. So take a look at that and definitely use that on your system. All right, so let's switch to the demo. All right, so one of the things that I wanted to show you is you've seen our traditional website. So I'm showing you is extending the user experience a little bit. And I wanted to show how you could use Liquid templates. How many of you used Liquid templates before? Okay. So one of the things I wanted to show, this is just a regular website, and I see this personalized page. So I wanted to deliver a personalized page to my users. Well, I'm not logged in first. If I wanted to have a more personal relationship with my users, and I wanted to kind of cater that, right? As we've seen in that website, we were able to come in and it said, hello, Dilip, and it was kind of personalized. And maybe I had a specific variable, and I wanted to build something in CRM that said, OK, if I have a Plaque VIP, or I have somebody that's a premium member, I want to make sure I'm showing that experience. Or I'm trying to expand out and actually maybe bring in the partner's name or logo when they're logging into their website, and I want to put that in their header. So how am I able to do something like this?
Like basic example is whenever I want to go to a website, if it's my birthday, I want them to say happy birthday. And I want like balloons and like all the images of balloons in that header, which you can do with that now.
Yep. So there's a few ways you can bring this Liquid technology. Liquid technology is this rendering technology that you can use in our portals. You can place it in custom web templates, or you can place it right into content pages. And I'm going to show you right in the content pages. I'm going to go here and show you some of that front-side editing that we have. I can go ahead and modify it here and save it, and it's rendered. Or I can go inside of my Dynamics where all of that content is managed and be able to actually manage it. And this is a web page, as you see. It's my content page. And I'm starting off here. And I'll do just a little tiny bit of that reading of this pseudocode where it says if user, which means if we're logged in, that's why we'll have the user object. And then I'm doing just a little bit of retrieving that entire record. So I'm taking contact, matching my user's ID, and pulling that in. And if I was actually able to be successful with that, which I should be, just being a little bit safe, then I can actually give them the experience of hello, first name, do a little bit of those squigglies, the name, and I can even bring in my custom fields. And this is where that extensibility comes in. I can take your custom entity, I can take your custom field, and then drive different business logic based on that. And I can even take that into JavaScript. So if I needed to take my user IDs or a specific field and maybe do something fancy in jQuery, or take that elsewhere, or maybe send that to an external web service, I'm able to expose that as well because this is server-side kind of rendering technology, and it gets to you in the web page. Obviously, the one that we see without a login kind of did that if branch. So as you can see, there's a lot of power to this, and I can just throw this on any content page. Now, we do have this fully documented. This is that docs website, where it's docs.microsoft.com, look for Dynamics, look for portals, and it's fully lined out here with all of the object types and documentation that you need to know how to use this language. So my next example here is, we do have our lists, which are rendered out of entity metadata. We have our forms. Let's say I don't like my list, and I want it to be able to show a fancier, premium experience to show my list of partners on my website. So I wanted to be able to show a list of my partner directory that's just a little fancier. Maybe even bring in images or maybe style them or put in some of that premium logo icons where it's a platinum partner of ours. So one of the ways to do that would be to modify that rendering also once again with Liquid. Well, this time I'm actually using a web template. And instead of using an entity list like I usually would, or like using, for example, like Dilip mentioned, the accelerated tool to show you an entity on the page, I'm actually going to do that through a custom web template. And as you can see here, again, just a little bit of this custom language. And trust me, it looks alien at first, but once you use it a few times, you realize, especially as a configurator in Dynamics, you'll see how easy it is to use. I'm checking if my page actually had an entity meta list defined. So I still use the exact same configuration type method of defining which entity list, which view, and all those fancy things that I do as configurator. And then I'm able to now take that on a custom page, drive that list out, iterate through those records, and do a full custom HTML output. Can you imagine the possibilities here with taking this HTML, the CSS3 Bootstrap technology, jQuery, and have the power to do anything you want? Now, really quick, if you do get into situations, this is what Dilip was talking about, clearing your cache. Now, it works really fast. When it doesn't work as fast as you want, you immediately notice. When it doesn't take you seconds, it can become frustrating. That's why I kind of keep this tab open. Now, I am logged in as an administrator into my portal, so I'm able to see this clear cache. Now, I do have more support information if I'm working with a support organization here shown to me as well. So when I was able to take that HTML and iterate through that list, now I'm seeing a more interesting experience here where I'm able to see a nicer list. I'm not seeing what looks like a grid, and I have full power. Imagine somebody that has more design skills than me with that power. And that's why bringing the right team makes sense, making sure you have somebody that understands web content and publishing and can bring in those skill sets. This is a quick sample of just a different portal of bringing in a different Bootstrap theme. Right? You get a little bit of that color and branding happening here. And you can see this traditional list looks a little bit fancier with just a new Bootstrap theme. I wanted to give you a little bit of a homework. So how do you go from device to pro Dynamics Portal Configurator? I'll give you one simple tip. One is you can now look at our source code. That is valuable as well. That's kind of extreme. Kind of going to need to know .NET. Now, I want to be a pro configurator in Nikita. OK, well, for you especially, this is your best homework. Go look at our header template. The header template here gives you a wealth of information to understand how to actually dive in and how do we build that. You want to make your menu vertical? That's your homework. Figure that out. You have full control here. You'll see how we're drawing every element, how every site setting gets utilized, and you're able to see how we're using this templating technology combined with Liquid and be able to draw up those experiences. So you can go out and build pages as you wish. And you can take out the header. Don't like Bootstrap, bring in your own technology. Now, Dilip earlier talked about resetting the portal. I believe this is the page that you were referencing. So when you go to your manage configuration, if you did have some support experiences, how many of you reset a sandbox in UAT2, UAT3, and needed to kind of rewire up your portal infrastructure? This is the page you do. If you ever have troubles accessing that, you just simply hit update, and that's going to sync everything back up for you.
Right. And this is the page where you start your DCI journey as well. So that Portal Analytics tab is where it starts all the configurations.
Yep. Dynamics Customer Insights. Excellent. Thank you. Let's get back to slides.
Right. Yeah, we are back.
So one last thing. Let's talk about the transition in ADX7. So current state is you can't buy new licenses. You can't extend licenses. At this point, we are concluding support on August 1st, 2018. What does it mean? It means no support. You can't call Microsoft support. You can't call your Premier helpline. We're no longer going to be offering support. Now, if you did purchase through perpetual licenses, you'll be able to continue using your portal because you do host it. We can shut it down for you, but you're not going to get support. So until then, any breaking changes, any things we need to do critical, we are responsible for doing that. But once that, you really should be considering that. So take a look at the blog. It talks about in detail about where you should go, some of the options that you have, depending on your customizations. Hopefully, what I showed you today with Liquid was able to give you some inspiration about some of the things you might have done before to change your user experience, and maybe think of some scenarios for taking our dynamic SaaS portals and then taking your external customizations and kind of making a mashup strategy where you have something hosted maybe in Azure Web Application or a function that does just that one piece you can't do potentially in our portals. So definitely think creative and move forward. So I think we're going to start wrapping up. I know everybody wants to get to the next event. Dilip, any closing comments?
Yeah, nothing in particular. But yeah, I love to hear questions about like anything you have now or ADX Studio V7. If you have any problems with transition plan, look at, like, you will be getting mails about it on what are the options, like SaaS, do custom code, like what we ship, use the source code release, or you can keep on running ADX Studio V7. So read about it. If you have any questions, reach out through those channels.
Yep. And I've said training. If we're lacking in training somewhere, please let us know. Let us know what kind of training you'd like. Let us know what kind of content you'd like. We do have some mics.
Yeah. So
Do you have a mobile app in a roadmap for portals?
Do we have a mobile application?
Yes.
Yeah, I did forget to show, I think we talked about, it is mobile responsive. So it'll work well on your tablets, your phones. The Bootstrap technology gives that to us for free. But there isn't the shell application that you have. And the shell application there would just be our Dynamics portal application in the store. If you download it, then you'd have to.
So there's no native mobile app, but the portal works on mobile seamlessly, and it optimizes for it.
Yeah, but we don't have a shell app in the store.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have a Power BI integration on portals as well for B2C users?
Not yet. There is a partner of ours who actually offer a connector to do Power BI embed on portals. I think they offer it on App Source. If not, you can actually Google it and they show up.
Connect 365 at Axio.
Yes, that's the one. Correct.
And do you have in the portal usage analytics, is there an option to capture how long the user stays on a specific page?
So Application Insights does that for you. It actually captures the whole session, what pages were visited in the session, as well as session length. So if you use Application Insight JavaScript, it does that for you automatically.
Yeah, and you'll be able to do custom events there. So let's balance the questions over here. I think you're next. And we'll be sticking around after for sure.
Does Microsoft have a best practice approach for migrating, say, from a sandbox portal to a prod portal or anything?
So there are two
similar?
options today. One is configuration migration tool. If you use configuration migration tool, then if you are on at least 8.2 solution multilingual portal, make sure in your setup the way it detects duplicates, do not only do it on GUID, also add like root web page and those things, and it will work fine. There's also a XRM toolbox tool right now, which only does website migration, because configuration migration tool does a lot more than that. It, depending on what schema you use, it takes away get more record than that. So that tool is specifically for website migration. So those two are the preferred one. There's one on the roadmap where we are looking at enhancing configuration migration tool to only do websites. That's in the works right now. So meanwhile, you can use those two.
Yeah. We'll take that, Mike. Next.
I guess our question is there anything that you guys are doing for source control? So if I make a change and I don't like the change like a week later, can I go back at all?
So elaborate on that a bit. Like if you change a liquid template and...
Yeah, so let's say I change one of the pages or change the liquid code, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, is there any kind of template versioning or rolling back or any kind of source control, any of that?
Not yet, but that's actually a pretty good suggestion. So
yeah.
Do you mind logging it on IDS side?
Yeah, I can log it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We do pay attention to the IDEO side. Absolutely.
Yeah, if you have time to hang around, like we can talk a bit more about it. Like there's some options which you can explore. Typically, you can like keep templates and keep on enabling, disabling them. That's something which can work, but we can explore more on that.
And then also, as far as like a test environment and production, it seems like everything is kind of production. Like you make a change and it's pushed immediately to production. How do you set up like a test environment and then move that to like to a production environment or a dev environment to production? Do you just have two different instances, or?
Yes, that's the ideal.
Okay.
You keep your CRM sandbox different. You can also use the same instance and have multiple websites in there, the way I talked about how you can have website binding pointing to your portals. So you can do that as well, keep both websites in the same production environment, make changes to one and then see if it works on the portal and then switch the website binding whenever you're ready. But typically we prefer keeping the whole org separate, because some of the configurations which you do can affect like all the portals. Like if you are changing records too much or changing contacts too much, that will invalidate your cache a lot. So it will slow down your production.
Okay, thanks.
Can I ask a quick follow-up on that?
Yep.
To support what you're suggesting, you have to have a separate portal instance for each environment that you want to use for dev and test. But those additional instances are charged at the production rate of, I think it's $500 a month.
Right.
That seems really expensive for an environment where we don't need all of the production level Azure load balancing that you're doing, is there any plans to release a sandbox instance of the portal that's maybe not at the same SLA as the production portal?
That's something we are looking at right now. That's like one of the top rated idea things. So we are actually looking at that and working with business to come up with a new option there. But it's not finalized though.
Do you have a time frame? Are we talking
not
the next
yet.
6 months and a year?
Yeah, I am afraid I have been asked not to share any timelines.
Okay, thank you.
Can you talk to what the difference is between portals and websites? So you said we get one portal for free with our O365 subscription. If I am hosting case management and knowledge management, is that one portal or is that two portals?
That's so imagine it this way. You get one subscription.
Right.
What you show in that subscription is all up to you. That's one portal. If you have one URL, it means one portal. You put both case management and knowledge management in it, it's still one portal.
Okay.
So if you get another URL, that means it's the second portal. That's how it gets differentiated.
So
You could have a super portal, I think, is what you're getting to,
Well,
where you can combine all the features and host multiple audiences.
Yep.
So we just charge you for one hosting instance, basically,
Okay.
for that, and you can combine the features and functionalities yourself. I think like the community portal and partner portal are more of the top-loaded ones, so you can combine that and then bring in your employees into that through Azure Active Directory, for example, and serve those audiences as well.
Oh, that makes sense. So I guess second part to that is if I host it in both English and then in Chinese, am I
Still one portal.
still one portal?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You
It's
can
actually-
host
it's
up
actually-
to 43 languages in a portal, still one portal.
Okay. So those are not different URLs at that point?
Yes. They are same URL, it just, it's like subdomain gets changed, like slash folder names gets changed.
Got it. Thanks.
And that's a setting.
Hi, we have a business logic on the entity forms, such as if a person is salaried or self-employed, different fields appear in the entity form. When we make that entity appear on the portals, such JavaScript-based logic, would it be ported?
So if you have written like CRM, client API ones, or you have written PBL, process business logic, right? Something, one
Things
of
like-
the
For
two.
example, some of them
Yeah.
are by business logic, portable business logic, but some are not. Some are JavaScripts.
So we don't, like it won't native automatically work. You will have to write like code on portal side as well.
I see.
So as to, for it to work.
But
Because,
if you regenerate that page, would those JavaScripts be there?
no, they won't load up.
No, the XRM object is not there, so you
Yeah.
can't take your JavaScript business logic that you've written and immediately reuse that, because the XRM object that's able to do CRUD, that's able to touch the pages, it's a different rendering UI entirely. So those object names and objects are not going to be there. Now, there's also scenarios where you likely could want different business logic for those entities. But it is good feedback about business rules and having
Probably
those come
PBRs,
through,
correct.
because those be kind of form specific. But yeah, just definitely be careful in JavaScript, and that's why training and education is very important, because you take a functional or developer and they assume that the JavaScript libraries and XRM objects are there. They're assumed that they're able to do CRUD operations through on that portal, and doing those kind of exercises through FitGap is extremely important to preserve kind of your position with your stakeholders that you're trying to deliver the solution to.
Did you just say business rules do pass through though?
No, they don't.
They don't?
They don't. Good feedback on that, and please vote
that's
that up in
something,
ideas.
like we were talking about that, we should probably add it because they are form agnostic, so it will make total sense to do that, but they don't today. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I have a quick question on. When we have in our organization, we have 2 weeks of deployment, and during the deployment, the CRM deployment, we put the system on administrative mode and also turn off the backend services. So I haven't tried that option. I'm just asking your input.
Your portal
is there
will go down.
Will go down. Is there I mean, it's okay to go. It's okay to have a portal down, but will it show any meaningful message to the end users saying that the portal is down or something?
Not today. No.
Okay.
It will actually throw probably a 500 error for your users.
Okay. So is there any option to overcome that situation? Because we have 60,000 of users.
So not right now, but does this happen? Do you do that like dark hours and that kind of stuff? Maybe like doing a notice upfront. Will that
Send
work?
a pre-notification to the users.
Yeah, something like that.
Alternatively, I would go to where you have your DNS control. I know that could vary how long it would take
yeah,
to
you can
update,
do
and
that.
host a static page somewhere in CDN that says, hey, we're under maintenance, and then flip that at kind of
Yep.
your friendly URL
Okay.
location.
Because
and
if
swap
you
it
have
there.
like a custom host name for your portal, you control the DNS CNAME, so you can CNAME it to like a static page at that point of time. So all your users will go to that static page and see the message. That will be a good option. Yeah.
Okay, so do you have anything in your roadmap to overcome this?
Not
situation?
yet, but yeah, that's a good feedback. Like we haven't thought about it. So yeah, I'll go back and add it.
Sure, thank you.
Right. Yes?
Yes, I'd like to ask about the document management process, because we don't have one at the moment. So when you're uploading documents into a portal, pushing it into SharePoint, because I know it was on the roadmap when it first came out, when we bought ADX Studio, but it's no longer there.
Right. So one of the things we are actually looking at is enabling it back, but not necessarily SharePoint, because SharePoint is old. So we are looking at options like OneDrive or maybe like other providers as well. Today we only support blob storage, and the other option is something we are exploring. But it's in roadmap. It's not. There's no timeline decided yet for it.
Right.
Yeah. So that will be one of the options to go self-hosted, because then you can like customize it to do that.
Because for my partner, and when the roadmap first came out, it was on there, and I
Yes.
sold it to three clients, and I got burnt. So,
Oh.
yeah, hence the reason for the question.
Another question. One of the things that we've run into as we've doing our proof of concept or hackathon of the portals is that we've tried the different templates. Is there a way for us to merge them together? For example, if we installed the customer portal, but then wanted to also incorporate some of the features that are maybe in the support portal together into one website, it didn't look like there was an easy way to merge those two templates together.
The best way I typically use is I take community, because that has like everything pretty much in it, and then strip out whatever I don't want. You can, if you have already installed a template and you want to add like stuff from other ones, it's like manual, like you have to reparent pages, but there's no easy way to do that. Like there's no like something else which you can do with that at that point of time. But maybe at some point of time we will make sure that there's one portal with everything in it, so you can just strip down, and that will be easier to do.
Yeah, like having one example or one portal template that had everything, that would make it a lot easier for us, because then we would just do a proof of concept with that,
Correct.
and then be able to see it all working together, and
Right.
then when we decide how we want to actually roll it out, then we could strip
Correct.
it down or roll out parts of it
Yep.
in phases.
Yeah. So right now the best way to do it is community. Community actually covers pretty much everything, whatever
Okay.
we ship, except for partner management pieces.
Yeah.
Rest all
That
it's-
was the one we were looking at combining together.
Yeah, you can probably reparent pages, right? You can take the partner portal and just move over ideas into it, for example. But we do have on our docs a pretty good diagram of what's included where, and that should help you guide your decision of which one to start with, and kind of simply what to bring over.
Okay, I have seen that chart, so that was helpful. So
Excellent, good to hear.
Any plans in the roadmap for shopping cart or payment processing or anything like that?
So shopping cart, we are not looking at adding it back. Reason being it's more than shopping cart if we go in that direction, so that we are not thinking about. Payment processing is possible today, because typically all payment processing is JavaScript driven. You are redirected to payment processor page and you never get that data back. You just get like yes or no kind of thing back. So that is possible today to do.
Thanks.
Is there any kind of workflow attached to content creation so that you can create an approval process, for example? So that you have one group of people that might create a knowledge base article, but it has to be approved by another group of people before it goes live?
On portal?
Yeah.
Yes, so we don't ship it, we actually ship like a process out of the box as well. So there are two things which makes a portal enabled on your website. Sorry, makes an article enabled on your website. One is article has to be published, and article has to be marked as external. So that you can trigger as a workflow process, that when you create a KB article, it is draft. It goes to an approval stage where someone takes a look at it and approve it, and that's all permission driven in CRM. And then it goes to publish state where some other group take a look at it and publish it. And at that point of time, it goes on to the portal. So that's possible today with KB. That's why my approved article was not showing up on the portal, and my published one was showing up.
One last question.
So we get new question.
Oh, go ahead.
Priority for new.
Thank you. Are the portals available for CRM on Premium? Yes?
So Dynamics SaaS portals, the service as a cloud, they're hosted online.
So you guys are on-prem today?
Yes.
So the option is the source code release which we talked about. So that is pretty much what we host in online version. Online version cannot connect to on-premise. There are multiple reasons for that, and we are not planning to enable it. So that source code release you can use, and you can host it yourself closest to your CRM deployment. And that's the same exact code which is running online. And we provide a guide on how to host it and how to set it up quickly.
So we can download the whatever from.
Yes,
from
correct. That's a whole source code which you can download. It's on download, like Microsoft Download Center, and if you search portal source code 8.3 version, it shows up.
Yeah,
okay.
it's on our CRM blog. So look at the Dynamics 365 portal source code release. It'll describe it and have a direct link for you there as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you've seen 6,000 implementations now. Is there any, maybe pick one that comes to mind that you maybe see very common, companies try to go down this path and you say, don't ever do that. What would be something that you say, whatever you do, don't ever try this. You're destined for disaster.
I can tell a couple from performance side. If you are using a portal, do not turn on page tracking. That's going to kill your performance. Or if you turn on page tracking, just disable change tracking on web page log and web file log entity. You do not want those changes coming in too fast and creating a problem. And better way to do page tracking is App Insights. That doesn't put any load on your portal at all.
Yeah.
Or even Google Analytics if you want to.
It's like it's from legacy technology anyways, right? But it's imagine you're tracking telemetry back and then flushing it back to the portal as a cache refresh.
So that's one. And then another thing which we have seen people like struggle a lot is when they start like opening it up for their users, they kind of miss a trick there. If either you have to choose, either you are doing invitations. If you have already uploaded all your users and you are using, let's say, for employees, you are doing Azure AD, make sure they get uploaded properly. You have got all their object IDs and external identities set up. Else what happens is people come to portal, try to log in, and they get a message that email is already taken because it's technically already taken. Right. So those are the some tricks which people run into.
Yeah.
Can be avoided. So we are actually trying to improve documentation on those as well.
Yeah, the ones that I've seen really escalated to us is where frankly, fit gap wasn't done, and you get to a point where we start engaging on a ticket, and the nature of a ticket is I'm trying to do X, and it doesn't work. So support looked at it for a while as there's an issue or defect. What we really found out is that it's a disguised feature request, unintentionally or intentionally, and it's 2/3 into the project.
And a lot of those are funny requests.
Yeah.
Like I've got a request which says, I'm at this page, I want to log in with Google. When I move to other page, I want to log in as Facebook. That's not possible. So some of those things happen.
And the ones I called out with entity permissions, right? Making sure you understand how user onboarding is going to work, what identities we support, channel and adapt to other identity adapters if you can't fit into one of ours. We do support all 5 of the big ones. If for some reason yours doesn't, well, just write an adapter to it. That's why, like for example, something like Azure AD B2C, write an adapter to that. Let that handle coming into us in one way. And the more user identity management you can bring in, the easier it is on the user. Like if they want to create a username and password for every website, let them do that in Azure AD, right?
Correct.
Like let's not host that, but most people will probably choose one of the existing ones they already have within that. But to you, in the management stack, it's just one IDP that you set up to manage. So that's one, but entity permissions is another one too, where you really didn't think through the security permission model, what you want to do, and didn't spend the time modeling it out to understand if you're going to have issues.
Thank you.
Sure, go ahead.
If you have a big entity like 50 fields and you want to have a wizard kind of capture the first 10 first and then 5, will you be able to do that?
Yes. So entity forms allows, I think it's web forms. It's called web forms.
Yeah, it's called web forms. Yep.
Yeah.
Web forms?
Yep. There's entity lists and entity forms. Those are one-to-one, right? And then you can have web forms, which can project out, or you can go through tab by tab within an entity, or you can actually draft out specific
From
CRM
one entity
forms
to another.
per page
you
and
merge.
guide the user through, and even show them the progress of where they are within that web form flow.
Such a web form can use multiple entities in this case.
Yes.
Right.
You can stitch together.
And if any one of those fields must be populated from outside from CRM, let's say for example from an external party, then we need to go there and then write the JavaScript to do that, right?
So there are two ways. You can put a JavaScript on your entity form, depending on, because it's all authenticated, I'm assuming. You can make a call to that API, get the field and like fill it in. That's something, like there's one of our customer who does that. They have a database hosted on Azure where they make a SQL Azure call and get the data back and like place it there.
Right.
But that thing has to support call from JavaScript, means like cores should be enabled and all of that has to be supported. Because it's a cross-domain call at that point of time.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Is there a way to have ADX 7 and 8 on the same instance?
No.
No?
Do not do that.
So how do you go about, migration?
So we will launch a whole document on how do you do that, step-by-step process. If it's a smaller or simpler implementation, it will be super simple to do that. If it is complex, that documentation will mention all the gotchas as well. It's due very soon. We are actually testing it out with some of our internal IT folks to migrate their portals and see if it works or not. But it will be out pretty soon. So wait for that, and it will come out in time for you to migrate before end of support.
Yeah. The encouraged path is actually manually moving over instead of doing an in-place update. We'll have some notes from the in-place update, but re-implementation is recommended because it'll also give you an opportunity to see what is all custom that you wouldn't have to do through discovery, right? So that's going to give you a better idea of making sure you document it, have a thoughtful process around what were those customizations that I need to now back out of if there were custom pages, custom page rewrites, or things that are no longer supported or features. So it's a more sure way to quicker get to the SaaS portal.
But can you still go with ADX 7 and then go live with the 365 and then decide to do the switch?
That can't be in the same instance.
It can be on the same instance.
Can't be in the same instance. The entities match actually.
So it will create a problem because a lot of solutions are same. So it will upgrade your 7.0 solutions, which will mess up either your 7.0 or 8.0, depending on what it upgraded. So that's why it becomes more tricky with both being on the same instance.